Welcome to the fucking other new podcast, new co-host. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Princess Plunderphonics, aka Weeb Trash. A lot of names, a lot of things. Yes.
A lot of things, yes.
Yeah.
So, you're a YouTuber?
Yes, I'm a YouTuber. I do other things, but mainly people know me as being a YouTuber. I have a lot of inspiration from, like, PCP, as well as YouTube poops.
Yeah.
In my editing style. As well as you, as well. You actually are a big influence on me, so...
Also, this is the question we ask every co-host. On a scale of 1 to 10, how normal are you? With 10 being most normal and 1 being least.
I'd say I'm a 4.
4.
Because, on one hand, I can interact with people. I have pretty good social skills. I have pretty good speaking skills. I can generally function in normal humanity, I guess. But on the other hand, I can't really relate to people my age. And, like, I'm interested in a lot of, like, weird things, because I'm kind of obsessed with weird fetishistic things, and...
Nice.
Yeah, I spend all my time, like, in very niche parts of the internet, so...
Yeah, you have. I'm guessing you have an interest in, like, fandom, obsession, kind of like otaku culture, hikikomori culture. Because I did a video on, like, fandom mentality and stuff, and you also wanted to explore ideas of, like, obsession, fandom, and those kind of community stuff.
Yeah, like, especially, like, hikikomori culture. Even though I'm by far not a hikikomori, I go outside quite often, I have IRL friends, I do things in the real world. The hikikomori aesthetic and lifestyle just fascinate me to no end.
Definitely. Have you seen Otaku no Video?
I have not, surprisingly.
Yeah. It's just an anime about, like, the beginning of Gainax, basically. And it's full of, like, interviews of, like, otaku and stuff. And what's really interesting about it is that it's set in the 80s and was made in 1991. So it's, like, about exploring pre-internet anime culture, which is very different.
I've definitely heard a lot about it, and I'll probably watch it tonight, in all honesty. That does seem very interesting, because I do like exploring fandoms. It's like intensely interesting to me, especially the Brony fandom. I think Bronies is probably like the most interesting fandom of all time.
Nice. Because they kind of like redefined how people view fandoms on the internet, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Before Bronies on the internet, you weren't really like a part of like a grand fandom. Like, yeah. But then Bronies came along and suddenly everything has their own fandom, everything has their own like intense community. Yeah,
and Bronies also feel like it belongs to the internet, while like other fandoms feel like they don't belong to the internet necessarily.
Yeah. Bronies also seem to be like some of the most creative people on the internet, because like you have a whole Brony music circle where that can be very versatile, very interesting. There's a lot of really interesting projects there. You have obviously Endless Jess's Horseshoe Saga, which did a lot of things with like deconstructing reviews, deconstructing internet culture, not really internet culture, or like creators on the internet. You also have just like this weird I bring up you as an example of like kind of exploring the intense sexuality of Bronies and of just like people on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of exploring fetishes in that kind of area, yeah. Because the internet has given people more access to that stuff.
Yeah, but like Bronies are I've just seen them be so creative, like despite the bad name that they have.
I also think it's like they feel like they have to prove themselves.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because of all the bad talk about them.
I feel like a good example of like Bronies kind of having to prove themselves is like the album Autumn Nights by Jeff Burgess, who's now Just Fern. That album is this very intense progressive pop album that is actually really impressive and can be considered like a serious piece of music, but is still a Brony album.
Oh yeah, it sucks. It kind of works both ways, because on one hand, you get your music that wouldn't get access anyway, can get more access by putting the Brony label on it, but then you can't get it out with the Brony label.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
The Brony explosion, I guess you would say, 2011, 2012, was definitely really interesting, and I think it's something that you can't... Actually, now that I think about it, it does happen. It basically still happens, but just a lot quicker and dies a lot faster. The Brony phenomenon kind of exploded and then kind of like stuck around for a very long time. Like Undertale exploded and then it faded out, and then, you know, Doki Doki Literature exploded and then kind of faded out. Bronies lasted like a lot longer because the internet wasn't as fast back then.
Yeah.
And now memes die really, really fast, but back in 2007 you can have like Rick Rolls for like years. And that didn't really die, you know. Memes lasted longer, basically.
And I like that the Brony fandom has, like, sustained itself throughout all these years. And even now when it's kind of dead, there's still, like, remnants of it. There's still, like, a strong foundation of the Brony fandom that is still very much alive.
Because now all the bandwagoners are gone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely with the lightning in the bottle. It was very reliant on that time period and all that stuff. Because in my video about Bronies, I basically said that cartoons kind of sucked in like 2008, 2009. Everyone was just waiting for like the next big cartoon to come out that was really good. So it just came at the right time. And if it came out when Steven Universe came out, or like, you know, all these other TV shows, My Little Pony wouldn't have gotten as much attention. What I'm really interested in is like fandoms pre-internet, because the internet makes everything pretty easy. It's like the greatest communication network ever. But when you see like pre-internet furries, it's really cool because, you know, they basically advertised furry parties, because they didn't have conventions yet. This was like early 80s. They would have furry parties and they'd advertise them in like science fiction magazines. Because, you know, before the internet, you would just subscribe to like, you know, Star Trek magazine, and every month it would come in the mail, and then at the bottom of each magazine, they would say, here were some like parties, because conventions didn't exist yet. Here are some conventions and parties that are happening around here, and they say like, you know, furry party at this hotel, at this state, at this time. And that was the only thing that, like, got furries together, was magazines and, like, early forms of communication.
Yeah.
And also, and anime fans are also pretty interesting, because what they would do, they would record the anime as it broadcasted in Japan, and then they would hard code subtitles in English, and then mail those VHS tapes to America, and then copy those. And that's really cool. They kind of talked about it in the Talking to Video with this one guy who has like a VHS collection. But he like, you know, records every time a whole bunch of shows and has like an archive of shows. In America, you would just have like hard-coded VHS tapes that were transferred that weren't official and licensed. That's really cool to me.
That is really cool, because it's like even without the internet, even without that binding thing that kind of forces us all together, they still find a way for fandoms to exist.
Also, what's interesting about like me doing research into furries and then watching and talking to video was that fandoms were a lot more close together as opposed to being separated into their own little bubbles. So science fiction fandom, comic book fandom, fantasy fandom, anime fandom, furry fandom, they were all just kind of working together to like get everyone together, because they all use each other's magazines, they all use each other's conventions to connect, because you didn't have the internet. So otaku back then referred to like fandom or nerd in general, not just anime. And
I just think like the existence of obsessiveness and the existence of otaku, not just anime otaku, but otaku in all contexts, is just such a cool thing, and kind of is like the single thing that breeds creativity. Yeah. Something I've been recently interested in is like kind of like a hypothetical, what if there was no internet and we just like kept advancing older communication systems? Let's imagine like Amazon drones deliver mail really effectively, but we didn't have internet. So we just have like Amazon drones as a super effective snail mail system. Or like you have like an analog radio setup. Like basically you have like a giant Discord voice chat over like amateur radio or something with a lot of different people. Like that's the really cool future I'm imagining, where the internet doesn't exist, where we just kept advancing technology in other ways, and that allowed the communication systems to also advance. So I'm just doing a lot of research into amateur radio, old film techniques, old stuff like that, and also kind of taking that into my glitch work, because in order to understand what a glitch is, you have to understand technology that makes that glitch. And there's a lot of, and I've been just watching a lot of videos about like how old filmmakers would like cut out the old film reels and then attach them over each other to like make basically really early green screens and stuff. And by understanding how they did that, you can kind of understand how you can do your own special effects. I definitely think that like practical special effects like that do still have a place
there's CGI effects, and then there's like practical effects. 2001: The Space Odyssey, they just made huge models of spaceships and just had a camera on those models and stuff. They didn't have CGI back then.
My second topic is like weird porn / fetishes.
Oh, nice.
Which is like something I know you have a huge interest in, but haven't talked about on the show yet, on the Charles Barkley Topak cast.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I've just been having interest in like sexuality in general, just the science behind it, how the brain works, because the brain is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You see lines on the piece of paper and think that's a human being, like that's the lines of the paper kind of thing.
I also have like a really big interest in sexuality as well, and I like explaining fetishes, explaining the appeal of them, because like I don't know, whenever like you're at school and someone brings up like some weird fetish they just found out, I will always be the one that's like, well, actually, it's very obvious why someone would be attracted to this.
I guess something else we have in common is explaining fetishes to people is really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Like, for example, someone just found out what inflation was while I was like at their table.
Yeah.
And I explained to them what the appeal of inflation is. It's kind of just like watching the human body like morph into something completely different.
Yeah.
And
I thought that that began with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when that one girl turned into a blueberry.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that was like the catalyst that really popularized that fetish. All a fetish needs for it to happen is just for the brain to associate something with arousal.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So anything can be sexually appealing, because brains are stupid and will do that sometimes.
Yes. One way I can help explain things are like just by pointing to sub-dom dichotomies by saying this is the submissive and this is the dominant.
Yeah.
So in transformation fetishes, the appeal is the submissive person is being transformed and the transformee is a transformee, and then the dominant person is transforming them and then going to use that transformation as just another form of that kind of dichotomy. And that's kind of the appeal of that.
It's a very dom-sub thing. It's also a very intimacy-based thing.
Definitely.
It's a very intimate thing to watch somebody blow up, and it's kind of an embarrassing thing, and to share that moment is very intimate and is, in turn, sexually arousing.
For me, like, I already made a video about fetishes, and whenever people bring it up, I'm like, yeah, I have a video about 100 fetishes. I can explain any fetish. And I imagine that you're the same way.
Yeah, like, and also whenever I want to introduce your content to people, I'll send them that video.
That's one way to introduce someone.
I'll either send them that or like that one video where it's like the skin, there's a lot of data moshing, someone's trying to kill Rarity, that one. One
was on me, yeah. That was the hardest video to ever make.
I imagine, because
God. Because basically what I did was I would film myself 5 or 10 takes of me doing an action, and then I would change costume, and then film 5 or 10 takes of me doing another action in another costume, and then layer those onto each other and then cut the scene so that, because the camera has to be stationary for this to work. And then I data watched that later, and you can see like me fighting like 4 people at once.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I would mess up and like, because I'm so particular. It's like if the shot isn't perfect, I'll have to wait tomorrow because someone else is in the house, and and no one needs to see me do that. And then I'll film another day and then do that one scene, that 1 second scene of me doing this shit with other people.
Making videos is actually like another topic I have.
Oh yes, that was actually one of my topics. Fuck.
Holy shit.
Because I haven't talked to a YouTuber yet. Because we both make videos. Fuck, we'll just combine it. You go.
Yeah.
You go start.
Specifically on the topic of like waiting till people aren't home, because there's a lot of my videos that involves screaming or yelling.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes I can get away with it with like people still in the house, but other times, or like I'm just doing something weird while like someone else is in the house and they walk in on me. Like one time, in a very recent video I made, I was just staring at the camera, petting my Pinkie Pie plushie. And my brother walked in and was really confused on what was happening.
Yes, I can relate to that so much. I did the same thing with, I was changing costumes with a fight video, and I was taking off my trench coat and putting on the gas mask and stuff, and my dad came home, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm filming a video." It's like, why are you wearing a gas mask? Where'd you get that? And like, I ordered it online. It's like, how come I never saw this? Like, Dad, fuck off.
Jesus. Yeah, like...
And what I did was I edited that video, cut out the rarity parts, and showed him a safer version of that, and said, "This is what I made." And he was like, "This is really cool." He doesn't know about my YouTube, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my parents know about my channel.
Oh, no.
But thankfully, do not watch any of it.
Ugh.
Actually, I know that my mom has seen, like, the first 20 minutes of the end of Trash, for whatever reason.
How did she see
and that? She just told me, and didn't say her opinion on it or anything. Just said, "Hey, you know that, like, 6-hour video you made? I watched, like, the first 20 minutes of that, and, did not say anything afterwards, and I don't want to know what her opinion on it was."
Oh, that's horrible. It's the worst. If someone just says, "I watched it," but then doesn't even say what they feel.
Yeah.
Oh.
And, like, the only reason they know is because I had to, like, order a mic, and I don't have money on my own. So, I was like, "Hey, guys, I plan to do a YouTube thing." And, of course, they wanted to know what the channel was and all that. And they like that I'm, like, doing something creative, but I don't think they like watching the videos.
Yeah. Oh. It's just that for me, like, I feel like if I have to think, what would my mom think of this video every time I make a video, then I can never do anything. So like, my goal is to keep it completely separate from my parents.
That's a good idea, because when you're making things and you have to wonder what your parents would think of it, it gets weird.
Yeah.
And it gets kind of, you kind of have to, like, tier the line on what you can do and what you can't do. But luckily, my parents only know about Weeb Trash Productions. They don't know about my new channel.
Ooh.
So now I can be a bit more liberal with the titles and and everything, all the things I do. And I can be even more of a wild, crazy, experimental fuck.
Yeah. It's also interesting that, like, some parents really don't understand the internet. Like, I try to explain to my dad, like, that I have a Discord, and he was like, "So you have, like, 40, 50-ish people, and it's all focused on you." I'm like, "Well, not really. It's more like a general chat." It's like, "So you have a cult?" And I'm like, "No, it's not really a cult, Dad. It's not really a cult. It's just a general talk with people who like my videos." It's like, I always knew my son would be a cult leader. He just doesn't grasp the social connotations of, like, certain internet things.
I always knew my son would be a cult leader. That is a quote you do not want to hear. That is something you never want to hear from your parents.
And then, like, I make a lot of, like, jokes about, you know, spirituality, like astral projection and stuff. So he thinks it's like, they think I'm God or something. They think that, like, I'm like a spiritual cult leader. I'm like, "Dad, no. We make fun of that stuff."
Yeah.
Well, it's fine. My dad's cool. I just show him some of the more safe videos and say, "This is what I do for fun," kind of thing. But he doesn't know my channel or the other stuff I do.
I'm less worried about what, like, my parents would think of what I make, but I'm more worried about what new friends I make would think.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I hate having to, like, answer that "what do you do for fun" question.
Oh, God damn it. Yes. Whenever I visit family, they're like, "So, you know, how's work, how's school?" I'm like, "I hate it." Like, "Well, what do you do for fun?" It's like, And if I say I make videos, they're like, they want to see it. And I'm like, oh, I can show you like the safer videos, but you have to stare at my phone as I show you these videos and not at all see the titles or my username.
Oh, I just realized the worst thing about my parents knowing about what I do. Because, like, sometimes I'd be at relatives' houses and they'd ask, what do I do for fun? And my parent would sometimes be like, oh, sometimes he makes these videos. And then I die.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, what are the videos about? I always find a way to, like, dodge the question. I'm like, oh, I just make videos about anime or something. Like,
yeah.
If I explained to them what I really did, they'd throw me out of their house. But I really don't like how, like, because my videos are made for, like, a specific group of people.
Yeah.
That spend all their time on the internet and really understand what it is.
Yeah, definitely. It's for specific people, and if you see it, you're not going to like it because you're not that audience.
Sometimes I show my IRL friends. Like, in the early days, I included my IRL friends in the videos, but other times I just can't. And other times, like, I'll deliberately keep it a secret until it gets out somehow, until somebody tells someone else, until I'm like, because you know how kids gossip.
Yeah.
And, like, since I'm still, like, in high school, some people just know and has seen my videos, and it makes me fucking anxious as fuck.
Oh, because, yeah, I started making videos, yeah. I sometimes have, like, fantasies where I think about, like, what if I had this YouTube channel, but I was still in high school? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
some kids would be talking to me, and like, yeah, did you know that, I got, like, 500 views on this video? Never. And then all the females would be ovulating or something. They'll get so wet that the floor would just start slipping and sliding. Everyone would be flying around. It's like, whoa, YouTuber!
Whoa, you make YouTube videos? Yeah, I make videos. I once humped a pony in a video.
It's horrible.
It is.
I just want to astral project away. I want to astral project to the YouTube world and never come back.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I know so many people that are, like, do believe in astral projection.
Nice.
Like my mom is an example.
Nice.
She's really, like, into astral projection, into, like, the whole spirit science kind of thing.
Oh,
I was actually brought to, like, a spirit science church one time.
No.
Yeah, those exist.
Oh my god. I found those videos back when I was in middle school, and I showed it to this one kid, and it was like, it was the human history video, back when I was new.
Oh, yeah.
And what I did was I showed him it, and it was like, he would just watch it because it was like computer class in like 7th grade or something. And they were talking about like the Lemurians and the Martians, and he was just like super into it because I knew he would be. And the other kids were making fun of him, and he like slapped them whatever. He's like, get away! I need to learn about the Lemurians.
Jesus Christ. I was showed that video in 8th grade when I was like just starting out my channel by my friend Clay.
Yeah.
And we watched that entire video the very first day we met, and it was the best experience I've ever had.
It's such a perfect video.
It really is. It's just, all of it is just like this really interesting lore of like these wild conclusions that people have come to.
It's like a regular Lord of the Rings story, except people believe it. And that makes it 5 times better.
Yeah. Jesus. And like, that sort of belief system, I feel, is just religion, but like on a much more interesting level.
Yes. It's modern mythology.
And this sort of mythology, like, and I think you've made a point that's like, conspiracy theories are modern mythology.
Yeah.
One of the episodes of the podcast.
Yeah.
And like, I used to be really into conspiracy theories.
I still am. For entertainment purposes.
Oh yeah, for me it wasn't for entertainment purposes. It was like, I actually believed in these things.
There was like this one time when I was like 12 or something, and just for like 2 or 3 days, I was convinced the moon landing was faked. Just for like 2 or 3 days, there was this very short amount of time being like 12. I was like, yeah, the moon landing did happen. And then eventually I told someone that, and they like said some more stuff, and I'm like, oh, the moon landing did happen, because I was 12.
Like, when I was 12, I also thought the moon landing was fake, but for a little bit of a more amount of time. I was like really into the Illuminati stuff.
Oh, yes.
Which is really interesting once you like, just the sheer amount of videos that are out there about the Illuminati is endless entertainment.
Oh, yeah. And like, also I was like into like Illuminati jokes before the Illuminati jokes on the internet, like before montage parodies, Illuminati confirmed. Before that, I was into it, and I would like look up YouTube videos and make jokes about Illuminati with my friends. And then that became a meme. And I was like, God fucking damn it. And then whenever I tried, because I had a game, it was called Google Illuminati. We type in Illuminati and then any word and see what would pop up. So I do like Illuminati Nickelodeon, and it would see like all these stuff about how Nickelodeon's Illuminati, and then now when you do it, you just see memes. And like,
yeah.
The internet, no.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. And like, I remember when I was introduced to the concept of the Illuminati, I was like in 5th grade, I believe. And some kids were talking about it, and I was like, what's the Illuminati?
What is it?
And they showed it to me, and I was scared to death. Like, it was the scariest thing I have ever encountered up to that point, and I didn't sleep that night. But then I did some more research, and I thought it was just funny. As
a kid, everything is more real, you know?
Because like, I remember them like taking me back to because we had a substitute, so no one gave a shit. They took me back to like the school computers and showed me all this evidence, quote unquote. And I was just, and me being like 9 or 10 years old, I was just fucking shook
to your core.
Yeah.
Now you see the eyes everywhere.
I do. I see the eyes, and I was like, I remember like seeing the eyes and seeing like all the symbology that apparently meant the Illuminati everywhere. And like, I was a very anxious kid. I was absolutely scared of everything. So this just added to the damage of being scared of everything.
Yes. Definitely something among conspiracy theorists. It's just like general anxiety and paranoia, and then the conspiracy theorists just feed into that and like confirm your beliefs that everyone's watching you, kind of thing. Empowers your problems.
It makes your problems all the more worse because you're worrying about something that isn't real.
Yeah,
and that affects everything else in your life.
Then you become a hikikomori.
Speaking of hikikomoris, I think I was like a wannabe hikikomori.
I kind of had a phase like that too, where I was like, I want to do nothing, and then I realized that you can't do anything.
Yeah. I would do nothing but like go to school, come back, and not leave my room. And it was all like my choice. And I did have 1 or 2 IRL friends that were trying to snap me out of it and trying to get me to not be such a faggot.
Yeah, I think like hikikomori is basically kind of like a fantasy for people who hate people. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a fantasy where you get to be completely alone as much as you want.
Even though being hikikomori is definitely a toxic thing, I do think a lot of the art that has come out of hikikomori-ness is helpful, as well as cool.
Yeah, like Welcome to the NHK is the one that everyone points to.
Yeah.
And you know the story behind the author, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. He was like, he wrote the book and like lived off the royalties and just continued being a hikikomori. It did nothing for him.
Yeah, he wrote it because he thought it would help him get out of it, and it only enabled him. Very sad.
That's like very
irony. That's like poetic irony. That's like something you would see in a really cheesy Facebook copy pasta type of irony.
Yeah. Welcome to the NHK did end up helping me, because, like, I watched it one time, and that was, like, when I was early into my hikikomori stage. And then I watched it another time, and it really inspired me to get out of it and to also be a creative person and stop indulging in this escapism and this fantasy of being alone all the time.
Psychopathic Misanthropy, episode 4.
Yeah.
I hate people.
Misanthropy is interesting to me because at times I do legitimately feel misanthropic.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just that the kinds of people who are chronically misanthropic really do interest me. I don't like having anything to do with them as well because they're often, you know, assholes. But yeah, this is just hikikomori-ness and being alone and neatdom are all things that, like, I like observing people a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I like observing fandoms, I like observing patterns. I would just, like, search up 4chan battle stations all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And
yes.
just study people's rooms.
I have
see
gigabyte folder battle stations.
You're gonna have to, show me some of the stuff you have, or, like,
oh, yes.
upload that file on, like, a mega thing, because that's my pastime right there.
So good. I feel like it is kind of an escapist fantasy to imagine yourself as, like, the ultimate loner, is what I... Yeah.
And being, like, that ultimate loner is, like,
and
attractive to a lot of people.
Yeah, and then you have, like, that AVGN, like, gaming setup, you know? You have that AVGN VHS, like, archive. And you could just, like, spend all day spinning around, slapping booties and VHS parties.
Yeah. Like, my ultimate fantasy when I was 13 was, like, surrounding myself with anime posters and anime DVDs and manga.
Yes.
And secluding myself in my palace.
Yes. Your domain. Master of your domain.
Of course, yeah.
So good.
4chan battle stations, when you observe a lot of these rooms, it's like a lot of intense emotions, and there's a lot of interest in them.
Yeah, because, like, it just tells you about that person on a very intimate level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like how they decorate the room is how they decorate their sanctuary, you know? So by observing the room, you can really observe a person.
Yeah, which is why I really like messy rooms.
Yes.
I really like when they're really gross and disgusting, because you can, like, derive more from that, and you can tell that person is, like, broken and depressed and just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, like, how their room is set up and how clean it is, how dirty it is, tells you a lot about that person.
Just observing rooms is just really cool, especially when you get them from 4chan, because chances are they spend a lot of time in their rooms, like most of their time in their rooms, so you can pretty much pick up a lot of things from what kind of person they are to what they do on a daily basis from their rooms.
Exactly. My mom is really into, like, those home improvement channels, HGTV kind of stuff. I'm not really into that. But, like, for example, so she's really into, like, adding stuff to the house. She's always having, like, projects. I thought it was really dumb, but I kind of get it. It's like, your house is an extension of yourself. It's your ultimate sanctuary.
Yeah.
It's your astral plane. The greatest astral plane there is. Your room.
The astral plane is a place where we all reside. And we all...
Welcome to the inner workings of my mind.
I'm still, fairly ignorant on, like, astral plane stuff.
Sometimes I feel like I am too. It's, because everyone has a different interpretation of that stuff. It's like when you try to research the occult magic, there's different, systems of magic. There's, like, Wiccan, there's, like, divination, there's, like, chaos magic. And you just kind of, basically what every person who's into magic does is they just grab a little bit of each one and then incorporate them all into their own, like, original system.
Yeah.
So basically just grab what you like. If you like reincarnation is true. If you like summoning is true. If you like lighting candles and basically you just do what feels right is how magic works, if you ever get into that stuff.
Yeah.
If you're into, just do whatever you feel, and then if something works, I guess magic is real. I just summarized everything. Alter. The word is alter. whatever.
Shrine?
Yes! Yes, the word was shrine. You create a magic shrine of your waifu. Yes, that's what you do.
It is funny. It is a good, a good source for a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever get the chance to, if I can get a hold of a printer, I'm going to, like, make a shrine of, like, I don't know, one of my waifus, like Pinkie Pie or something, do, like, a waifu summoning video or something.
Yes, the waifu summoning window was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah, one of the things I really want to explore is how to begin and end a video. So we always have the beginnings and the ends mirror each other in a way. Ask the audience, how do things begin, how do things end? How did the ability to record media affect how you perceive things and how media is taken and all that? Very meta. But yeah, I really like that video because the beginning was reverse talk, and then the end, the reverse talk was revealed, and all that. So you listened to my other podcast. What was your favorite episode?
I don't know, because, like, I listened to a lot of them, binging through a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, I basically took, like, 2 chunks of my day and just listened to, like, one half and then the other half while drawing or making videos. They all kind of blend together,
yeah,
in all honesty. But, like, I think the podcast as a whole is great. Like, it's one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to, in all honesty.
You're just saying that because I'm right here.
No, sincerely, like, this is, like, one of my favorite podcasts now. Like, I like solo podcasts a lot. Ever since, like, Digi stopped doing his in, like, early 2017, I kind of had a empty spot in my heart for a solo cast. And then this one comes, and it's, like, it's about on the same level as that one was.
Oh, no.
Obviously very different in content. I really like also when you talk about your own personal experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, I like studying people. I even like the parts where you discuss your story ideas, because those are very interesting to me.
I'm so conflicted on the story ideas, because I think everyone else hates them.
I think I'm probably the only one who likes them, because I like when people tell me their story ideas, and it reminds me a lot when I do it to people and annoy the shit out of them.
Yeah, I think it's... telling story ideas is like something... It reveals a lot about a person and how they think, but also, it's like you get a story without having to get a story. You get, like, the basic essence of a story without actually having to do the effort of making the story.
It tricks your brain into thinking you actually did the story without you actually doing the story.
Yes. That's what conspiracy theories are, really. It's just, like, basically writing prompts. Conspiracy theories are writing prompts. That's what they are. Which one of my stories did you like?
A bunch of, like, assassins.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, that one. That one was really
The vigilante story?
Yeah, the vigilante story.
Yes. And it's set in the 70s.
Yeah, that one.
And it's in my mind, it's all like 1970s film style.
That one was really good.
Because that one is it's all character, while everything was plot. Everything else is more plot, while this one is more character, which is why I wanted to really focus on that one.
I like when stories emphasize characters.
And then kind of like, it's also really great when, by knowing how characters will act, you know, like, what will happen when they combine. Do you have any story ideas?
I have a lot that I don't think I should really reveal because I have, like, a lot of plans for them.
Yeah.
A lot of them are, like, slice of life, and I just like me describing characters.
Yeah, definitely. Like, just creating OCs without the story.
Basically.
That's what a lot of artists do, is just like, they kind of feel an aesthetic, they feel a character, and they make an OC, but they don't have a story or setting for them, really. And I really get that, because I did that too. G-Man said, the right person in the wrong place can make all the difference. Deep shit.
Deep shit.
Deep fucking shit. Okay, I was going to have a segment on conspiracy theories, but I don't know what conspiracy theories to do anymore. There's so many of them. Have you heard the theory that Mario Party is based off Japanese internment camps?
No. I've never played Mario Party.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I know it's a joke, but like, that sounds hilarious. I wish it...
Woodpeckers give Morse code to sleeper agents. JFK was just blowing on the thumb really, really hard. Midgets or failed CIA deep cover office children.
I was once on X. I just had my laptop like near my brother, and I was just like it was like one of those threads where it was like iceberg charts of conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
and like I was just reading them off, and then we started making up like conspiracy theories.
That's the best. Stork pregnancy, baby pregnancy hoax. Burger King angry meals.
Jesus, Burger King angry meal. That is something that would like be at the very bottom, and you'd wonder what the fuck that was.
It was a copy of McDonald's Happy Meals. Burger King made Burger King angry meals, but in testing, all the children who ate them became very, very mad. McDonald's meals made people happy, but angry meals brought chaos and destruction, and Burger King could not let that spread. So they killed everyone involved.
Jesus.
Some say one of those angry meals was given to serial killer Zodiac Killer, and that's how he killed everyone. And small, unique sets of angry meals have been found by various people over the centuries. Since the dawn of time, when Cain and Abel. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I remember seeing one conspiracy theory on those like iceberg charts, and one of them really got me, and it was autistic water.
Have you seen the two conspiracy theories? Ghosts cause autism, and autism cause ghosts.
I mean, obviously.
They cause each other. It's feedback loop.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good.
Astral projection causes autism.
Yes. The book Everybody Poops is political satire. Great aliens evolved from dolphins. IRL creative mode.
Oh my god. IRL creative.
DeviantArt is an encyclopedia from another dimension. Underwater scat kingdom. The BRAP experiment. Do not look this up. Japanese internment camps for the Attack on Titan Titans.
Holy shit. This podcast, what does this podcast turn into?
The interdimensional properties of ball pits.
Whoa.
Amusement park rides are just UFO training. Okay, let's talk about something else.
Oh, fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell, mate. Videos, they're hard to make sometimes.
Yeah. So I've just been studying like the history of film and how like VHS works and stuff, analog technology, so I could make a story about a world with the end that doesn't exist, but society kept progressing everywhere else.
What do you plan to like? How do you plan to do you plan to like write books, or do you plan to do something else?
They're just story ideas. I think they would work well as comics, personally. Specifically, the conspiracy cinematic universe would work as a comic, because comics are all about really crazy continuity that becomes awesome as you add more to it. If you look into like DC and Marvel history, it's just like lots of crazy bullshit, and they just kept sewing it onto each other until eventually you're like, oh yeah, that crazy bullshit from the 70s came back in the 90s. And that's really satisfying. That's the appeal of comics, is just how fucking crazy they are.
Yeah. I've never gotten into comics, actually. I want to.
All you need to know is that it's supposed to be really stupid. It's like, oh, Superman can fly through time, but then they nerfed him. But there's a version of him that still exists after the multiverse rebirthed itself, and that became a villain later. And it's like, oh, he has pre-crisis Superman powers.
Yeah, that kind of stuff really interests me. I just, like, don't know where to start with a lot of comics.
Yeah, you just kind of have to watch those shitty nerd YouTube videos where they're like, here's the history of Infinite Crisis, and here's how it influenced other comics. You have to watch those shitty nerd videos where, like, some guy explains comics to you. I
don't want to do that, but I guess it's necessary.
I'll just post comic book screenshots out of context, and you'll get all the appeal you'll get out of it. Ugh, fucking comics. I have my fucking VCRs plugged into my computer at my desk now.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. I want to do like a lane thing where I just have like VCRs over here, amateur radio system over there, and just have like all the analog technology in my room.
That would be pretty aesthetic.
That would be pretty aesthetic.
Ever since I was like 13, I've always wanted that kind of lane aesthetic to my room.
Yes.
Like computers everywhere. I just don't know shit about computers. So
again, I want to look up videos where Linus Tech Tips explains things, and then eventually you'll learn through osmosis. It's just one of those things where you just have to expose yourself to enough of it, and eventually you'll get it. If you just watch enough shit about comics, you'll get it. If you just watch enough videos about cars or computers, you'll get it eventually. We've been talking for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
Do you want to do any final closing statements or something?
Be like Lane, except don't.
Yes. Just be yourself.
Be yourself, Anon.
Just be yourself.
But thank you for doing a podcast with me.
Yeah.
This really meant a lot. It was really fun to do.
Yeah. We could do more. I'm experimenting as fuck with this podcast thing, so we could do something with like we have you, Verpal, everyone or something, and then you all have completely different personalities. So I don't know.
It could work, and like those like different personalities could be the appeal of it. Like
Yeah.
we'd all bounce off each other.
But okay, I guess we can end the show now, and see you all next time on the astral plane and recording.